Hey, best friend, this is your girl, Kimya Motley, and I am the CEO of Haven of Light International. I'm also a mom, an author, an advocate, and I'm a survivor of gun violence due to domestic violence. And I want to talk to you today about an important topic: emotional abuse. And this is part one of a 3-video series, okay? So the title of this is He Doesn't Hit You, but Does He Do These Other Things That Could Be Emotional Abuse? So I want to say, I don't really know how I feel about trigger warnings anymore, because something that I tell you could trigger you or it might not. I don't know. But I'm just know that I'm going to talk about some things that deal with abuse. And if it's too much for you to deal with, please inbox me so we can talk about it, okay? Because I don't want you feeling bad after listening to one of my videos. I want you to be informed, and I want you to be ready to take action with whatever I tell you, okay? So I want you to know that the things that I share with you today can happen in any relationship: heterosexual relationships and same-sex relationships. However, you will hear me say him and her a lot because that's my experience, and also because women report it a whole lot more than men, but that doesn't mean that there aren't women who are emotionally abusive, okay? So I want you to know that, first of all, abuse is about power and control. So when people are doing these things to you, they are doing it because they wish to have power and control over you. A lot of times in an abusive relationship, you have a parent-child dynamic, right? That means one of the partners is the parent, and one of the partners acts as child. So the parent partner makes all the rules, and when the child partner does not follow, then there's a punishment. Right? So if you feel like you are always on punishment with your partner, you're probably involved in some type of emotionally abusive or some type of abusive relationship. All right, so here we go. Number one, name calling. So if they call you things like slut, whore, they call you fat, stupid, and most of all, the B word. Right? I've been called a fat bee, a stupid bee, a broke bee, a bad body bee, everything but the queen bee. If you get my drift. So those are words that are used to hurt you, and they're used to control you, right? So if that's happening, it's a form of emotional abuse. If they have little derogatory pet names for you, like, for example, my father used to call me Blimp when I was little because I was always a little overweight, and that was his little nickname for me. Now, he thought it was cute, but I didn't think anything was cute about it. Do you know what the Goodyear Blimp looks like, right? But that was his little pet name. The derogatory names could be a form of emotional abuse. All right. Next, character assassination. You're going to hear somebody breathing loud over here. It's my dog. For whatever reason, when I make videos, he has something he wants to say. I don't know why, but we're going to keep going. All right. So character assassination. It usually involves the word always, right? You're always messing up. You always doing dumb stuff. You always character assassination, right? Yelling and swearing. Now, I grew up in a household where my father cussed like a sailor, okay? And so I began to normalize cussing you out as this is what men do to women. And then so when I was growing up and I was dating different men and they would cuss me out, I thought that was just what men did. It wasn't until I was teaching with someone and she said, well, my husband never cusses at us. And I was like, really? And she's like, no. So that's when I realized that that is not normal behavior, especially if, let me remind you, that all of these behaviors have to do with power and control. So if they're doing these things to exert their power and control over you, they're doing these things to give you some type of punishment, they're doing these things to make you do something that they want you to do, some form of abuse. All right? So cussing at you. Public embarrassment. Oh, they pick fights, expose your secrets, and they wait good until they get in front of other people to do it. One of my ex-boyfriends would wait until we got in front of his whole family to do something really ugly towards me. And they would talk about it for days and weeks to come. I was totally embarrassed and totally ashamed. Public embarrassment is a form of emotional abuse. All right, dismissiveness. You tell them something is important to you and they, what is this? Wave their hands at you. They shake their head at you. They smirk. Like, what are you talking about? Deep sigh. When you're talking, why are they doing that? Because they want you to shut up, right? Form of emotional abuse. Joking, telling you you can't take a joke, but they're telling a joke at your expense, right? And they do it too, sometimes in front of other people, which would lend itself to public embarrassment, but sometimes they just do it in front of you. And then they'll say, you're being too sensitive when they do something like that. It's probably a form of emotional abuse. Insults of your appearance. Now, here's the thing. If you're going out with your guy or your partner, you know you want to look good when you go. And so let's say your partner doesn't like the little short skirt you're wearing. So he says to you, you know what? That's ugly. Your legs look horrible in that, right? It's really because he doesn't want other men looking at you, but he says something to belittle you to make you take it off. So that's all I have time for right now, but you come back for part 2 of the video and we're going to talk about more. If you're listening to this and you feel like, oh my God, my person, my partner does those things to me, and you want to speak with me one-on-one, or you want to join our women's group, our relationship group, I want you to inbox me right now, your first name, last name, and your email address so that we can talk all about it. Okay? So hold on for part 2. And remember that you can rebuild your life one day at a time and with God by your side. Until a few minutes from now, smooches. Bye-bye.